Choti. Deepness. Let the lesson. Alay. 725.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Premier League of Terra Mystica. It is good to be back. Jekyll, thank you so much for doing this with me for another season, Season 5.
Hi everybody.
Folks, if you're tuning into this for the first time, Premier League is sort of the higher division of, or it's the top division of the Terra Mystica Tuesday League TMTL, which is a tournament that's run, I don't know, a few seasons a year, I guess, so far, 3 or 4, by the incredible folks over at Terror Mystery Cats. Check them out over on Twitch. But they're the ones that organize this tournament. The Premier League is the top division, and I'm glad to be back as a resident caster helping to introduce this. Welcome, thanks for the follow. Without further ado, they are already starting to look at the game board. The game board have factions selected already, or factions already being picked. So let's jump right over to that, and we can take a look and start introducing the players that are playing this season. So, all right, so Jekyll, I'm gonna need your help here because I am not a Fire and Ice expert, or not a Fire and Ice factions expert, anyhow.
Okay, I'm not able to see the game yet. Hold on a sec.
Can't see the game, you're missing out. Get in here.
All right, here we go. No, I see it. So far we have, okay, Halflings and Darklings, pretty standard fare. It looks like Deep Finesse is the one to put in Halflings, which is no surprise given that he claims Halflings to be one of his best factions.
Right.
We've already witnessed that also.
Yes, I think Halflings and what is it, Orin, and I think Deep Finesse is just generally known for picking factions that are sort of less coveted by other people in the community. Deep Finesse seems to be one of those sort of players that likes picking stuff and throwing stranger stuff into color wheel, like, you know, stranger color wheels, and picking sort of the less favorable factions. Not that Halflings are a bad faction, but they're just not usually a go-to pick for a lot of people.
I feel like they've made like a resurgence though. I feel like I'm seeing a lot more. Maybe it was last season there was a lot more Halflings.
Yeah, I feel there has been a resurgence in Halflings, and I think we know that's true because even I'm on Team Halflings now, and like for me being like the cultists addict, even I have crossed the floor and have been putting in Halflings in some of my more recent games and stuff like that. So they're a fun faction to play with.
Right, and this is a landscapes off game, so
yes,
that of course favors those that have bad landscapes, and
right.
Halflings, of course, is one of those factions.
And for those who I suppose we should also just sort of introduce what players we do have in the Premier League in this season. So this season is going to be Deep Finesse, Halai, Dongehote, I hope I'm pronouncing his username correctly, Matt the Lesser, and Seven Tuna 5. This is Seven Tuna's bye week, so Seven Tuna is not playing, and it's Matt the Lesser's home week. Oh, Seven Tuna is playing this week. What have I mixed up? They must have swapped out on the schedule. It shows Seven Tuna.
Yes, I think they said they were going to swap with Don Quixote.
Right, of course. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So Don Quixote is not playing today. The other 4 are, but this is Matt the Lesser's home week, so I guess he's picked these settings: Fire and Ice factions, Fjords, landscapes off, and Fire and Ice end scoring also off, I suppose. So that's Matt's cocktail. This is all his doing.
He is, of course, the one to beat given his extreme success last TMTL season. He won both the Premier League and the turn-based Div 1. So everybody is eyes on Matt the Lesser. A little bit of heat taken off Deep Finesse, of course. And we have our 4. So again, Halflings and Darklings, everybody's a lot of people can claim like a lot of Darklings games, but most people have a lot of experience with them. Acolytes and Ice Maidens, however, yeah, we have 2 very strong Fire and Ice factions. I've mostly played Acolytes with landscapes on, and of course they are ridiculously powerful with that landscape.
Sorry, that's acolytes with the landscape on.
Yeah, acolytes, actually maidens too. Like their landscape also amazing, but both of those I haven't really played with that landscape, so I'm a little bit I wouldn't know how to evaluate this auction.
Well, we see the
I
first bid
guess
just going for vanilla old Darklings.
okay.
Chat, help us out with this. How would you folks evaluate these factions? I mean, is Deep Finesse right to just jump into Darklings here for 40 VP? And
Well, Darklings are not the strongest on this map.
it's true.
No.
So they're not the strongest on this map. They have halflings as a color neighbor, which is fairly annoying. Acolytes are playing as yellow, and we have Ice Maidens as gray. Are we apt to see some early bids as Ice Maidens? Yeah, there we go right away. Halai's first bid is to snap up Ice Maidens, but then bid them below Darklings. So, okay, Matt the Less is agreeing. So Ice Maidens are gray on the opposite end of the color wheel as a 3 in a row, and we are seeing that reflected in some of the early bids.
Right, and yellow, of course, on this map is like just a leech magnet. So, I'm assuming acolytes will also do fairly well, and so halflings being the 40. Is that right?
I would assume so. I mean, halflings aren't, an incredible superpower of a faction to begin with, and the fact that their color sandwiched is pretty bad. The fact that they're on fjords is... I don't think fjords is a bad map for brown, but I think it's sort of a neutral map. Like, there's nothing particularly about fjords that's going to help them at all. So they're sort of an average faction on an average map, color sandwiched. So that can't be good. But like,
Okay, let's look at the scrolls. So I'm just gonna assume that maidens take dig scroll. From what I know, acolytes really struggle for workers in the early game. I think that's right. Yes. So they might take the big building.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, which leaves Darklings on worker power, and then halflings also just get a bad pass tile. They get 4 coins, or maybe they take 3 power to guarantee double dig. Yeah.
I mean, the thing about double dig is depends on what initial favor tile the maidens take, but yeah, it would be like only maidens are the only other faction that would potentially take double dig. So
just going back to a comment that AJ put in chat that he says, I'm not sure describing them, meaning halflings, as color sandwiched by acolytes is correct. And I think, yes, that's a very good point. Yes, they're a yellow faction. They're being just, they're being presented as a yellow faction for the purposes of this auction, but they do function differently.
right. They're pretty colorblind. Acolytes, unlike Dragon Lords, who really don't like to dig the colors of the other factions that are present, like acolytes digging with one more cult step is it's not that big of a deal. So like, if it were really necessary, like they would not hesitate to like dig a brown or a black.
Right. For those of the viewers, Jekyll, that are slightly less familiar with the Fire and Ice factions, do you want to explain how some of the sort of digging stuff works with acolytes and what to expect a little bit from Ice Maidens? Okay,
so with maidens, they dig normally, but they do have to dig every hex. So there's no native hex for them. So they will start on gray, but every future building, every future dwelling has to be built on a dug hex, on an ice hex. But red the red hexes, gray hexes, and green hexes are all single digs for them. And then for the acolytes, they go, they use their cult steps to dig. So if they want to dig a color that's not brown or black, they will use 3 cult steps to dig. With brown or black hexes, they would need to use 4.
Right.
So by using cult steps, I mean they go down. So if they're only on the 2-step for water, they would not be able to use water steps to dig. They'd have to be on the 3 or the 4 or above.
Right. That's great. So if you were playing in this, how many more points are you up to go here on either Ice Maidens or Darklings before jumping to Halflings? Like, what do you think this total point spread is?
I think I would for sure go down on acolytes more. They're a very flexible faction. Like they can do well on cults if they want to. They can do really well on network also. And there's no like real network faction here, so I'm guessing like there's a chance they could do well on both.
Interesting.
Right, like Ice Maidens they're not a network faction.
Right. AJ points out Ice Maidens can make the CM town in the west. Right, so that's sort of the E1, C3 stuff with a bridge and some of those hexes, I assume. That's what he means. Is that what you mean, AJ, or are you talking about sort of the center western fjord? I never know when people say west on this map.
Yeah, I think I really like acolytes here. Like they're the ones that can hit that round 2 town. In fact, they really like an early town because they want to be taking Tukey Town, 8-point town, like the cult towns early. So like, from what I know, acolytes really don't like late town games.
Right.
So this round 2 town is perfect for them.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and the cult rewards are pretty great this game, right? I mean, we've stacked Earth cults. Coins into spades is nice, followed by workers, and then that temple event for extra coins. Like I guess what we're seeing the temple event, which is always good, because it's effectively doubling up on every color. We're seeing stacked air and earth, so that's powerful, and then we're not seeing power or priest, which I guess is what I would sort of classify as like the weaker the 2 cult rewards. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, for me right now, I would say Ice Maidens are overbid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they'll do fine. I mean, I don't think they'll do very well on network. And okay, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but like I guess they can hit like the big building and try to get some temple points. Their stronghold, once it's built, they get what is it? 3 points per temple built on the pass. So that is like a great internal scoring mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
In a fairly clunky scoring track, there's no dwelling round.
Yep. It's very tall. I think it was who was it that was pointing out that it looks like a good tall Ice Maidens game? I remember seeing that. Oh, Barnawall. Yeah. It's like a tall Ice Maidens track. I guess we also haven't talked much about the pass tiles. We have 3 of the 4 scoring tiles in, only missing the TP bonus. We're also missing the priest, and we're missing 6 coins. But we're making up for the 6 coins with a trickle of early earth coins and then a temple event. I assume the 6 coins isn't terribly consequential. I mean, it's always a little bit, but I don't know. That kind of seems like generically fine. If you're going to pull 3 pass tiles out, losing a priest, a TP bonus, and 6 coins when there's 2 coin events on the cults, like, I don't know. That seems kind of generic and fine for people. Like, which of these factions do you think is benefiting most from these pass tiles?
All but halflings, I think, would really like to see the priest scroll in.
Right.
I think. Yeah, they're like, I would say acolytes. Actually, everybody is fine with these.
Like traditionally, halflings or darklings don't love seeing the ship BP in, although it's interesting on fjords. The big building tiles in, I
Yeah,
think they're happy. Brown likes to
I
ship
would
on this map.
say,
Like what would acolytes and ice maidens? Do they ship? Are they shipping factions?
yeah, probably. I mean, I know that like acolytes, they would like to put a lot of their priest to cult just because like they really need to go up the cult a lot.
Right.
Um, since they're the ones that don't really need power actions in round one, like they'll really like coins. If they can, they're probably going to go get big buildings, so they won't need more workers. So they might be the ones to get the priest power action round one, which would be really good for them.
AJ saying ice maidens use the ship tile to score, but they don't ship much. Small and tall. It's an interesting way of putting it.
Yeah, I haven't played much Ice Maidens, but I do know that like you don't build that many dwellings. You don't really like spread out that much, and you just score on like increasing. You do like upgrading your tech, so like increasing digs, increasing ship.
Right. We haven't really talked about starting placements. Do you feel like taking a crack at that? Viewers have the hex numbers on
Sure.
screen.
Right, let me turn mine on. Let's see. So yellow, I'm just gonna go with standard F4 E7, standard yellow. Black.
G5. I mean,
G5 for sure.
G5 is it?
They must start on G8 and like
Yeah.
nah, they don't want to. Do they want to dig?
Yeah, I mean, I assume halflings are starting H4 here. So Darkling's way out from G5 is G6, which isn't under a terrible amount of pressure. So yeah, it's hard to say how they're gonna put their towns together here. As per usual, I find like Darklings just have like a lot of expensive digging that they need to do on fjords.
Yes, and they're going to want to secure those hexes quickly, given like the proximity of acolytes. So acolytes, they're not going to want to touch the earth at all. They will have like fire and water at their disposal. So they'll definitely have like 2 digs on one.
Who?
That fair to say? Acolytes.
Acolytes getting 2 digs in round 1?
Yeah, I mean, depends on whether they want to touch air cult now, like early, and just like try to climb up it later. If they do get a priest, I am assuming they're sending it to Earth and just sitting on Earth for like a couple of rounds, and then like going down after
Right.
round 2.
Right.
So wait, if they start on big building, let's say acolytes start on big building, let's start with 7 workers. So they can build a TP temple for 4 workers, and then they'll have 3 left over. So they might go down air anyway. Then like, they'll get the Tukey town and be able to like climb back up air in time for like round 3.
Interesting.
Possibly.
And then we see the auction has now finished, so we can stop speculating and just see actually what happens here.
Sorry, all I did was like ramble on and on about acolytes. Like, clearly, I'm like
No, it's good.
worried about
I
them.
clearly need a co-caster who can ramble on about acolytes a little bit because I'm not. Okay, so far as expected. Nothing too shocking here. There was some mention in chat of like, you know, H5 acolytes question mark, and I just started thinking about that, but we didn't get to chatting about it, but obviously that didn't happen. We just see standard standard
I think
placements for a yellow
acolytes
faction.
want a lot of space.
Yep.
Right. So like if they take that blue hex in the eastern continent, like then they that just have all that space for themselves. I'm sorry. I really like acolytes here. I think they got a good auction deal.
You like acolytes here, do you?
What do you think?
In chat, what do you guys think? Based on the sort of auction prices and the starting placements, who do you think's the best deal here? Whose position do you like? I mean, again, no expert on fire and ice factions, but like this is the most standard opening and hex placements that I can think of, right? So far, we're seeing kind of a vanilla game here. Ice Maiden, Silk Earth 2. Went Spade, Big Building, Worker Power. I assume Deep Finesse right now is trying to figure out whether he can take 4 coins and still get double dig.
I think he can. I think he can because Maidens did not take Air 2. They took Earth 2 for their starting favor.
Well, I think this is Deep Finesse saying he just wants to have tempo on H3, or that he can't. He took a 3-power tile, but I assume he won't use the shipping range this round unless he wants to forego a temple. Halai immediately snaps up the priest first action.
Okay. That is a good anti-acolytes. Again, I'm so like acolytes focused, but if you just let acolytes get everything that they want in this round 1, I think that it's bad news.
Well, and it's one of those awkward things when you start with halflings on worker power. It's a perfectly fine tile for darklings, but it's what do you do with your power in round 1? Because you don't need if you take a worker's action, you have too many workers, and then you don't have the dig to get even the second one down. If you take if you take a priest, if you start on a priest, you're looking for workers. If you start on 2 workers, you're looking for another spade, right? So you take a priest out. When you start on worker power, it's like you don't. It's not clear what exactly you're sort of looking for. You kind of have just enough stuff to like use your priest as a dig and use that worker to put down a dwelling. So for me, it's always a question playing with Darkling, starting on worker power. What are you using your power for? And so I think just snapping up a priest to send to a cult or be kind of annoying is totally reasonable. But we just saw a 5-power priest from Matt the Lesser, so that rant was unhelpful. Because Matt's like, I'm still sending a priest to Earth, just for more expensive.
Yeah, it's just that priest to Earth is so valuable.
Will we see Earth 2 Darklings here? I don't know.
Earth 2.
I'm kind of I often like when I take Earth 2 as Darklings, it's usually just means that I'm also taking Fire 1. Like I just go double econ. I don't know. I'm too much of a chicken to just go to. I'm too much of a chicken to just like play Darklings without Fire 1. I don't know why. So I'll play Earth 2 if I also take Fire 1, but I just find it, I don't know why.
The Earth 2 is like, is it just to go up Earth Cult?
Yeah, I guess to get an extra coin. I mean, there is an argument for it that like in this board state, like Halai's not getting down 2 dwellings. He's just getting down 1. And so that is a little sad. If you can end Temple 3 dwellings, like that's pretty nice for Darklings. Yeah, just take Fire 1. But, you know, he's like digging down a dwelling and building a temple. So Earth 2, that extra worker is pretty nice for next round. Especially if he's expecting to just like, I don't know, not pass for anything good.
You're like the Darklings expert, right? So you kind of like count out all the moves and know exactly what you're going to pass on to next round?
Well, by Darklings expert, I mean I've seen Zorus's YouTube videos, yes.
Come on, give yourself a little more credit. You're definitely like a very, very strong Darklings player.
Thanks, Jekyll. I'll take it.
Okay, I was wondering which blue Halai would defend or protect from acolytes, and I guess he's gone for f7.
Right. He's gone for f7. Yeah.
Wonder if he's going to build a second temple next round and then aim for the sanctuary in round 3, just
Yeah.
because like I find this like his temple is gonna be in the western continent, and like, I'm guessing he wants his sanctuary in the eastern continent and claim the
Maybe.
standard like blue, brown, black trio.
I know what you mean. The problem with that is space is also tight in the west. It's like he also, unless you just think that the west has no option for a town, so you might as well SA on f7. Fair. But if we're two towning here, I'd almost prefer the SA on the west. Like, we get g6, so then we get to just like dig f5, or we get to h6 with a triple dig before halflings do on a double. Maybe, probably, I don't know. And then we maybe munch some hexes in the west. I don't know. Well, there's one down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing acolytes just come and take g6 right now. I think
Oh,
that
I
in
see.
Halai, like taking f7, he's kind of like abandoning his temple on g5.
Right.
And like you said, or I think somebody in chat, oh, there goes f3. I was wondering if f3 was going to get taken also this turn,
So
this round.
it could have been taken. Why didn't Matt take f3?
Maybe he thinks Darklings are the bigger threat. I don't know. I mean, I guess if he now takes e4, like what like then can can Ice Maidens town with that black? Like no, they're not taking that black. So maybe Matt the Lesser is just like, yes, go ahead, waste your power taking f3, and then you can't even town anyway.
Right. Halai's getting so much leech that, like, you know, he's just taking a worker's action as well and building a
Never
temple.
mind. Darklings did just take.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I was just saying, like, I sort of forgot how much power Halai was getting here. Like, remember, like, he delayed upgrading first action and bought a priest, and yet he's still like 036. That worker's block was annoying though. But he'll 3 power. He'll take a coins action probably and 3 power for a worker and build a temple, and so he probably just takes fire 1 then, would my guess.
I think this makes sense. I kind of thought that he would just like use 1 priest for digging and 1 priest on the cult, but like which cult would he put it on? Like there's nothing that is like that attractive here.
No. I mean, the first priest to earth is interesting. That's, you know, it's a priest spade for a spade is underwhelming, but the spade is helpful. Yeah. But short of getting that first priest to earth, like, especially it's like with fjords, like, and we're seeing it right here, like Darklings just need so many digs early. If you're familiar with playing Darklings like on base map, like you can kind of delay some of your digging a little bit. Like there's hexes, like unless you are in a terrible spot, like there's usually places for you to dig. But like on fjords, it's just like you just want to dig really early, and you have a lot of digging to do.
Yeah.
So
also Halai having taken g6, now Matt the Lesser will like certainly take e4. I guess he was going to take it either way. Never mind.
is Deep Finesse building another dwelling here? Is that what he's thinking about? He has ship range, And he is. Okay, so Deep Finesse just burnt down to 4 power tokens in round 1 to get
Oh,
out
wow.
another dwelling. That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, SJ. That's so great. I don't know why I love that, but I don't know. It's just... I mean, I guess the thing is like, it just kind of feels a little risky, because, like, you just spent the last of your power, which could have been a future coin action, to, like, build a dwelling, which is a very coin-intensive worker-producing action in and of itself. Like, it's just a big, like, anti-coin thing, but it gets him his range. I don't know. He's far away from a coins action. We'll see what his next round looks like.
Yeah, he also took Earth 1 instead of a econ favor tile, so
Yeah, I don't hate that here.
next round might be like pretty mild. He might not get much done next round.
Which, I mean, if you're Temple 4 Dwelling end of round 1, I think you can send a priest to a cult and pass for some coins, and you're not that sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, Deep Finesse, I do find if he can get himself a good start, he does tend to like an early points favor, I find, if he feels like he can afford it. Whereas I sort of have this weird, like, OCD. Like, the moment I've built a dwelling in round 1, I don't want to take, like, the dwelling scoring favor, because it's like, like, if I can take it right away as my first 2 actions, maybe in some cases, and then dig down some dwellings if you start on a spade or something. But he double dug, secured H3, and then built a temple for Earth 1. It's interesting, because what this probably tells me is that he's not planning on building a second temple until round 4, right? Because like, if you plan on building a second early temple, generally speaking, you pay for that by opening with an econ favor. It just, like, gives you 3 to 6 more coins or a couple workers, like, whatever it is. But it helps you afford building that extra tall kind of game. But if you're planning on delaying that second temple maybe till round 4 here, then you can kind of get away with just sort of, like, building a single temple and then building out. So anyhow, that's my read on this, with Deep Finesse just opening with a very early scoring favor, that he's not building a second temple till round 4. But I don't know how you play halflings on fjords with no priests, so...
Yeah, it seems, in my eyes, I think it's very friendly and generous to let Halai get 5 coins and a cold step.
Yeah, so Deep Finesse also preferred, like, if he just sends a priest to a cult right now and passes, which, well, probably that's what he does, he's passing with 4 victory points, so he chose 4 victory points over 2 coins and a cult step. I don't know. A little point. I don't know.
But he did just get the air, like, 3 spot, which is...
That is the thing. By passing first, that cult step, what is it doing? It's not an extra worker or something. But it's 2 power, and it's a step on a cult. You know. I don't know. I mean, it's close. There's no point sitting here trying to, like, think too hard about it. It's like, but yeah, it is very nice for Halai.
What is Deep Finesse doing this round?
Passing for the spade. I assume. I guess.
He's on Dwelling Scroll. Would it be crazy for him to hard dig right now?
Yes.
Would it be? Okay.
I think. I don't know. Or does he pass back onto Tempship? Open with a coins action, upgrade shipping, and get out 2 more dwellings next turn? Does he pass onto the spade and get out 1? Like, I don't really know. Because if he was going second temple this round, he would have taken the cult coins. George says hard dig for sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm
Where?
guessing it's on H5.
H5?
Yeah. Force Darklings do that triple dig, which is gross. Yeah, I mean the thing with halflings is like if there were like a dig round in the future, then like hard digging would be, that's 2 digs that they're wasting. But like there's no dig round. You're just gonna sit on like 5 workers. I don't know. I think I might do the hard dig also.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, that way.
Yeah, I don't know. This is bizarre.
Huh.
I mean, what does H5 get deep finesse though? I mean, Darklings still take H6. They still get their town. No one's putting like, and it just gives Halai a bunch of leech.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay. So this is to block Ice Maiden's town dreams. I see.
Right. I mean, he really wants to connect north. So E3 I figured would be taken eventually. I just didn't think it was under much threat.
Can we talk a bit about math?
That's what
Sorry, go ahead.
what I was actually thinking at the end of last round. He is short 1 worker for this, but I thought he would dig G3 and then bridge and try to get like a town, but he is short a worker for that.
Right. SJ
Okay.
trying to predict a future triple dig from Ice Maidens. We said here from Ice Maidens. As in like this round? Next move?
I mean, they get an end of round dig, and they'll turn it blue.
That makes it pretty safe, I think, against halflings, at least for...
Yeah. And yeah, that would make it pretty safe. But at the same time, like, you also, like, there's all those hexes in the east that you want to start, like, building your economy with. One nice thing is with this, like, set of factions, Ice Maiden's, like, double dig is just sitting there. Heck, coins are just sitting there.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, and Ice Maidens are the only ones with enough power to do either. Let's see what they prioritize here.
George is saying Ice Maiden's essay is often not worth it.
Right, because of the potential like future stronghold or like the internal scoring that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Ice Maiden.
Oh, and look at Acolytes with all that stuff. So they're gonna town, they're gonna 2 key, they're gonna be on the 9 spot for Earth, which gets them 2 cult steps at the end of this round. Has he used his water 1, water 2 yet? No, he hasn't used his water 2. So he'll go all up on air.
We just took water 1. There's some nice leech for Halai. That means Halai is getting to open next round with a coins action. So is Matt just like very like decently in the lead here? This seems very good for Acolytes, and I don't love anyone else's game. I don't hate Halai's. It's pretty solid, but it's not. I don't know.
I mean, he's not like too well aligned with track.
Halai isn't.
Yeah. I wonder, like, if he considered a temple this round and an essay next round.
Maybe. I find that that's a pretty. I mean, yeah.
Because of the workers.
Well, yeah. It's just hitting 5 points. I like his line here is like he's gonna build some dwellings next round. He has 3 digs, so he gets down 2 dwellings.
And I guess he'll build a temple in the temple round.
Exactly. He's got Earth 1. He's on the dwelling tile, so next round he just like passes for 5 points. Gets coins.
Who was on big building just now? Was it Ice Maidens?
Ice Maidens was on big building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Round 2 and coins just
chilling. Matt
Acolytes take it?
No. Goes up air with his water 2-step.
Oh my gosh. He's actually going to get to the 8th step.
8th step of what?
Of air with his end of round Earth rewards.
And just to explain that to folks who are, again, newer to Fire and Ice factions, haven't played as much, it's like Matt's getting these cult spades, but they just turn into steps instead of spades. Basically. Do I need to add anything to that, Jekyll?
That is what it is.
Says so right on the faction board. Spade equals cult step. So Matt did, he took one for the team and took the coins at the end of the last round. Passed on to the big building.
Oh, that's perfect, because he was a little bit unbalanced with his econ.
Totally.
Yeah, so like what am I seeing here? The way it looks like, I think Acolytes will win network. Halflings will get second.
Yep.
Ice Maidens aren't even connecting, so like
Darklings get third.
Yeah, Darklings just get an easy 3rd place.
So Acolytes are getting cults and network.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, without like any dwelling rounds, is it worth it for halflings to do like the big, increase ship and like jump all around the board kind of thing?
Is it worth it for who? For halflings?
Halflings, yeah. Like they are going to connect. They are going to like increase their ship. Like, will they do it early? Or are they just gonna connect late? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's something about this track that's not like pushing halflings or darklings in any way to like make like a bid for like network.
Right. Man, again, that feels greedy. From Deep Finesse, doesn't it?
Which one?
A round 3 Sanctuary. I just would have been tempted to try to Temple next round. Maybe he does that anyhow? I don't know.
What, wait on Water 1?
Yeah, just assume you get it next round off a Temple. It's just, like, better for your economy. Like, a Sanctuary is just, like, so expensive. I guess it's justifiable when that big building tile is in the game if you can get on that, but it's just, like, a round 1 Earth 1 into a round 3 Sanctuary Water 1. It just feels very, like, very points greedy.
Yeah, especially after that, like, that dwelling scroll.
Yeah. Round 1, Earth 1, Dwelling Scroll, Hard Dig, Sanctuary, Water 1 in round 3. But
Yeah, do you think Water 1 in round 3 is a little early? Just generally across the board?
I just think delaying your Sanctuary as late as possible is good. There's another opportunity to score from it if you need it. The Sanctuary doesn't provide any utility here. It's not like, well, I need a Sanctuary here anyhow because I only have 3 hexes to build my town. Like, the Sanctuary isn't providing the utility of a Sanctuary. It allows him to town up with only 1 trading post, so maybe he TPs next round, towns up, then builds a temple. Like, sure, it's not doing nothing, but I mean, it's not like, it's not like he's secured 3 hexes only. I need a Sanctuary anyhow, might as well just do it now. It's like, it's a low utility Sanctuary and fairly early.
Both acolytes and halflings have really ignored their dwellings in the eastern continent.
Yeah. But I mean, Deep Finesse isn't putting a lot of pressure on any of those hexes over there with this low priest production. Like, he's probably upgrading digs in like round 5. Deep Finesse needs 1 leech for coins. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so Deep Finesse is on the ship tile. Has no shipping, but has a priest in hand and a single priest production. This is another thing that I always find painful. Upgrading shipping during a temple event is very costly. You're spending a lot of coins to upgrade ship using priests that could also be converted to coins. So, yeah. So Deep Finesse is really hoping for a single leech to get that coins action. Prophet Vox just redeemed posture check. I appreciate that. I will do my best. It's also one of these awkward things if I'm trying to monitor the space between me and this microphone, but I will scooch my chair in. Thank you. Does that count? I don't want to cheat you out of 100. Oh, it's only 100 channel credits. My goodness.
The other thing is, so Deep Finesse probably wants a second town somewhere in the west, either with a bridge to C3, B2, or, F1, G1 kind of thing. Will he get a neighbor? I don't think Ice Maidens are going to help him out.
Can't imagine why they would. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It might be a town there. If it is, it's just a big, ugly dwelling town. It's like, I don't know, it's like 5 dwellings, an expensive TP, and I don't know, that doesn't add up to 7. Like, it could be a messy late town, I don't know. But it doesn't seem great.
Maybe that's what he'll do. He'll just do like a big mess of a dwelling town. He'll just build all his TPs the western continent. Just overbuild his town.
Right.
Just like forget about the dwelling in the east, I'm guessing.
AJ, are you around to spin up a mod poll? A wild AJ was just summoned by L4. Maybe, he says. Sorry, it's a tough crowd over here, L4. You spend your channel credits, and then the mod's like, well, think about it. You have to fill out an application, and it takes 3 to 6 business days, Yeah.
Do you see what I see? Like, acolytes on the 10 spot for air?
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty broken.
Acolytes somehow also, like, way up on water?
Yeah.
Oh, but very interesting choice to build his sanctuary, his existing town.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. What your thoughts were on it, and it was for an Air 1.
Which was definitely not under any kind of threat.
It came with a worker, right? It was the step that gave him a worker. It was a 9-point sanctuary. He was on the pass tile. Air 1 is a trickle of points. It's going to be,
Okay.
2 points. I don't know if he's probably not building a temple next round, so it's like 2, 2, 3, 4, something. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the Ice Maiden Stronghold this round? Is that generally reasonable, round 3, to build a stronghold for Ice Maidens?
I mean,
I think I once incorrectly compared it to Engineer's Stronghold, and someone got angry at me. It was probably George Shortwell or something. It seemed like expensive to start but I don't know. It's 8 points. I guess you have to. When else are you going to build it? Like, yeah.
right. You don't want to wait till the very end for that. Yeah. He's going to want to build his sanctuary in the east later, especially if he's triple digs G3. Now he's just going to sit on like these temple points for 4 rounds. That's really good. That's a lot of points.
And he can build a temp. Does he build a third temple maybe in round 5?
Oh, why not next round?
It's only 1 point worse in the following round, and next round seems tight and tall. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, just my intuition says build out a little bit, and then do it for a point. Oh, I guess it's what am I talking about? It's not just the track point; it's another 4 points off the pass. Yeah, I don't know. And then you take. What do you take? I guess there's a copy of Water 1 left, and I assume Darklings just get it.
Why do you assume that? Because they pass first, you mean?
Yeah, well, exactly, because they go before Ice Maidens.
They have all the resources they need. Yeah.
Halai doesn't have a coins action. H6 is not under threat, really. I assume like Deep Finesse is doing other things than doing a double hard dig. So it's like, I think Halai's first action is probably a trading post. I think. And Deep Finesse did not get the coins action, and he's on the ship tile. Oh, he's towning up for a coin town. Okay.
Or ship town. Oh, coin town.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Matt just takes coin, so I assume this is a trading post from Halai if Water 1's important to him. I think it probably is, and with Darklings, it's like most factions, I don't run around like chasing after all the points tiles the whole game, but with Darklings, it's like, you want a temple this round anyhow. Temples are good, and what else are you taking? You know?
You don't run around chasing after.
Yeah. I don't base my whole strategy off of, oh, I need this one, now I need this tile. It's like, but for Darklings, I guess I sometimes do a bit more. So we do have a poll up. Who is currently in the lead?
Oh, yeah?
It's up there, folks. Get your votes in. I see 38 viewers and no one's voting. It's your democratic duty. It is a very creative poll, AJ. Oh, there we go. Okay, we'll see what the voter turnout is, and if it's I'd like the voter turnout in this poll to exceed that of Canadian federal elections, which is around 60%. So quick math. What do I need? 20 votes? Getting there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On our way.
I agree. I think it's Acolytes. I was a little bit surprised at the Ice Maidens votes.
Yeah, I was assuming it's Acolytes.
I mean, granted, like, Acolytes are not going to stay on all these cults. They also have water too. I don't know. This looks just like they're going to clean house with.
I mean, they win
where
3
it
cults, right?
matters.
They have another key. They don't close out water because no one cares. And so they just, close out Earth when they need to. They win water later, and I don't know, Ice Maidens just win fire. Like, is it like they just win 3 cults and Ice Maidens wins the other one?
Yeah, maybe. I recently played a game against Matt the Lesser as acolytes, and I'm pretty sure we got like murdered.
You got
It
murdered.
was with landscapes, granted, but like he won 4 cults at work. Bang, everything. It was ridiculous.
Ice Maidens are probably getting Air 1. And then 11 plus pass VP every round. Isn't it? It's 12 for the... Are those temples 3 or 4 points? And why don't I know the answer
There's
to that?
3 each, and then he'll get the Air 1 points.
Next round, yeah,
But
probably.
TP, yeah. I don't think that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like an engineer's bridge game to me. I think you played Ice Maidens once on stream, didn't you, Jekyll, on Open Table? Pretty sure you did.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think I like majorly messed up my first dig. So that were you engineers, and did you like come and steal my hex? The hex?
I think I kind of murdered you. Which is weird because I kind of murdered you the last time you were on stream. Are you playing Giants?
Thanks.
I don't know why that is. I'm usually not an aggressive player, but I guess I don't know.
What were you when I was Giants? Were you halflings? No.
I mean, I don't know. Statistically, probably cultist. It was a Lakes game.
No. Whoever. No. It was I can't remember who it was, but it was the person that was halflings ended up winning. It wasn't
Not
you.
me.
It was.
Right. Yeah. So we do see a water 1 take from Halai. Or as Fickles would say, a water 1 pull. Did Fickles come up with that? You guys are like the lingo generating household of Terra Mystica.
Fickles is he's very slangy. Like when I first met him, he was also I was like, who is this guy and why does he talk like this? Yes, it's him. He's the one that like calls things like isthmus, and sometimes he's like the stalactite like that comes down. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So Acolytes won the poll by a decent margin.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was a 47% voter turnout. Wow.
Although I will say, like, Deep Finesse's points lead is pretty substantial. Like, round 4 with 70 points is good. He doesn't have any cults.
Key thing, which you and I were talking about something when this happened. So Deep Finesse is at 2 ship, and he lost C4.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, that is mean.
That's a vibe. Yep. Was a bit of a blow. But I mean, if
Oh, that is so mean.
yeah, it's pretty rude. I mean, Matt's kind of a rude guy, you know?
Apparently.
I mean, the thing is if you've played Fjords enough, you know that like C4 is like the pressure hex for Brown on this map. Like, yeah, I've just played so many games where it's just like you're just trying to figure out how to get to C4 before someone. Because there's just no other really good ways to connect. I mean, unless you have a massive economy and you've upgraded digs, you can sort of chew your way through, and maybe he still does. I don't know.
I keep thinking he's gonna take h6. That would be crazy, right?
Oh, right now?
No, I keep thinking he's going to like this whole like these past couple of rounds.
I mean, he technically could right now. New poll, will halflings still connect?
All right. I mean, I guess he's just gonna forget about e6. He can still get like a good chunk of network points by just building out the rest of like the far west.
Uh,
Right?
you can. But just one structure. It's hard to say what that's going to amount to. Yeah.
Oh man.
On the Darkling side, is anyone taking f6? Help me figure this out. Is there like do acolytes take f6 for some reason?
I mean,
Connects them? It's actually
they could.
It's actually pretty broken if
Darklings.
Darklings can take that. He's at 3 priest production, and it's a hex that provides adjacency for a trading posts, and it means that he doesn't have to combine his northern and southern stuff.
Oh.
And we just see Deep Finesse back on the trading post tile without enough power for a coins action. He needs a 2-for-1, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
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 This is the Matt the Lesser that we know and love. It's pretty aggressive. Oh, you should have seen this one game I played with him. I was fakirs on lakes. And I had like this town set up, kind of. I had like a yellow dug, but I hadn't built on it. And then I passed, and he came. Like he hadn't even increased ship. He just increased ship, and then like boom, 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 came and took all my hexes. Acolytes. That was
Brutal.
miserable. Oh, but DFNS does have.
You got the
power
leech.
now.
You got the leech. Yeah. So Matt taking f6 put some pressure on h6. I mean, Halai wanted to build there anyhow, but so I don't know what whether. I guess Deep Finesse passed. He needed 2 power. He actually didn't need the free one from Matt the Lesser. He just needed Darklings to dig h6, and they probably were going to. So I guess he passed, expecting to get a coins action, which he did.
So Halai 5 power priested. I was wondering if he was going to take the priest action, but he just decided to
5 power to get that dig. It's just because like Matt's at 1 shipping, right? So
right. Oh my gosh.
And how Matt is Matt today? I don't know.
Right. Just the threat is enough to force Halai's hand to do something extremely efficient.
Yeah. So another thing that I missed, chat's catching me up here, is someone asked, I guess it was Bulky, Ice Maidens with Air 3 over Air 1. Jekyll, what's the deal with that?
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I would take Air 1. especially like if you consider like the amount of points, like if he gets even if he gets second on air, that's 4 points versus 8 points, so it's a 4-point loss. But how many more points is he getting with air 1? Like definitely more than 4 points. So and I didn't see. So Matt the Lesser must have come down in order for Ice Maidens to take air 3. So like
Yeah.
he's already down air. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting play. It's like an 8-point swing, I suppose, against Acolytes, but
Like Acolytes had come down. Even if he gets the last air spot, he's not going to. It would be hard for him to close out air. So like Maidens can take air 3 or something at some other point.
right.
I guess you could say the same for air 1. He can just take air 1 like next round or something. And
Right.
wait, never mind. All 3 temples are built.
We see a water 3 take from Acolytes.
Yeah. Well,
I guess
Acolyte's just coasting now.
Yeah, I guess there's not a ton more for him to take here, really. So what's happening next round? So a halfling's open with a coins action. He's on the dwelling tile. He's at 2 ship, 1 priest production, no digs. And it's trading post round.
Right, trading post round and he's on the dwelling scroll.
He's on the dwelling scroll. He also doesn't have that many places to build trading posts unless like he can overtown an H3 and then TP on E6. Like neither of those are town forming actions. Presumably he's got.
I mean, this is the path that he's gone down, right? He's just going to like accrue as many points as possible and hope.
And hope it's enough.
And yeah, he has a decent lead. He is going to build a bunch of TPs on with Water 1. When does he increase digs?
We see a move cancel. Sorry, the screen's gonna get a little wonky here probably for a second, folks. My apologies. I haven't tested this setup and how it functions with a game. Sorry, that probably looked very weird. Matt canceled his move. He had initially dug C6 and then chose to dig D2 instead, which I think makes a lot more sense. I was wondering about C6 and what it was really getting him. And going into a trading post round, C6 doesn't provide any adjacency.
And it gave D-Finesse no extra power.
Yeah. Going on D2 gave him a free power that D-Finesse wasn't going to get because he was full. They'll advance digs and build some dwellings. Who will advance digs?
Halflings?
I mean, halflings can't advance digs. They only have 1 priest. They're gonna half advance digs? Seems strange.
I mean, if he half advances digs, he can dig down C3 and then he'll have 2 more browns that he can immediately reach.
AJ's pointing out that you think, oh, it's Ice Maidens, yeah. Both Fruity Harris and AJ is pointing out it's Ice Maidens that are advancing digs. Ice Maidens have all these priests. Oh yeah, they have a dig advance already. They're gonna advance a second time. Which kind of makes those air spades a little underwhelming, but.
Okay, I think I stand corrected. I think maidens actually do look pretty decent.
Really? What makes you?
Yeah.
Why have you changed your
mind? Their points are pretty good. They've got all those pass points, and then they're going to upgrade tech. They're going to do like pretty well on cults. I mean, I still think acolytes, but it does seem a lot closer than I initially thought.
Didn't announce it beforehand, but the result of that last poll, will halflings connect or not? The answer was a fairly resounding yes.
Will?
I mean,
I don't think he's gonna bother. It's just one.
I don't know. E5, B3. You know, is anyone taking those hexes? I mean, Matt can't just continue to take that many random hexes. And if...
Because what? He wants a third town? Is he getting a third town? Is that what it is?
What is that? Sorry, are you asking for clarification on my argument of why Matt isn't taking random hexes?
Yeah.
It's just because, like, Matt, I don't know, because it's just ultimately inefficient to some degree to just be like, you know, if, like, I guess he could just, if he takes E5 and then, like, I don't know, halflings could take B5. Like, Matt would have to respond, I think, to quite a few hexes to, like, completely knock it out. I think he's done enough damage that it's like, if Deep Finesse wants to connect, it's I guess it's 2 double digs and 2 shipping. I don't know. Maybe it's, I have no idea. Acolytes can hit G3. Yes. I think we're talking about Ice Maiden. Oh. Oh, I see.
Yeah, so, like, what is Matt the Lesser doing the rest of the game? Like, he's going to finish this town. Is he building a third town? He's going to need to put down a bunch more dwellings in order to, like, get this network thing.
I don't know. Oh, we do see, okay, so Ice Maidens do get their town. And sorry, we'll come back to Acolytes in a second. What are Ice Maidens doing with this ship range, this town, this turn?
Oh, interesting.
Like, G2 doesn't seem good. I guess they can ship to the south and be friends with Darklings? Yeah, that's what they do. They take G9 and then they get the other hexes around it.
Oh, yeah, because those are all single digs for them. Yeah.
Like, Darklings might take G9 because they need a double dig. But it, like, if Ice Maidens take G9, I think Halfling or Darklings will focus on their stuff and they can just town around each other.
Yeah.
And
plus, like, that's like nice power, that's good neighbor. Like,
Yep.
Kalai wants all of them.
Yeah. And I didn't mention this beforehand, but it's like Darklings did find a path for their 3 towns. It's a little awkward. Previously, I said that, like, they needed F6, otherwise they needed to combine their Eastern Fjord blob with their Southern Peninsula blob, but that isn't true if you sort of have this, like, bridge to I6. So Darklings will want to take a bridge action probably this round. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I see. Okay, in that case, then for sure he wants 7 Tuna to come down. G9.
Yeah. Oh, and we do see the bridge from Halai. Glad I catch some moves before they happen. Yeah, so Bulky, it's a good point. Bulky says, is going after network worth it for Acolytes? Dwellings are just -1 VP each, looking at them in resource points. No Earth 1, no Dwelling Round, etc. And each dig might cost Cult VP. But then L4...
It depends on how much he's going to have to, like, dig to get network. So, like, who is the biggest threat here for network? Is it Darklings?
Well, I was just gonna say, who is it? I mean, Ice Maidens are never connecting. Deep Finesse is, I don't know, just greeting 90 points from nothing. And like, I don't know if he's connecting or not, and is very tall. Like, I don't know how to read his game, really. It doesn't look like he's putting up much of a fight. So yeah, I guess it's just Darklings. Like, Darklings do have some expansion opportunity, right? Like, say they get their towns in the south, and they get their town, their bridge town. Then where do they expand? Well, they can take I-5. That's just a nice, cheap, easy hex. They could take I-7 and just merge their towns together. Or they can upgrade ship a second time and do E9, E10. So sort of like five hexes for them. I mean, and on 2 ship, like, yeah, Darklings do have some sort of later expansion stuff if they want to play network. Like, I think Darklings here have a path to, what, 15 network?
Again, what's that mean? How many structures left on the board? Is that 3?
2.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, sorry, the quick math there is, so it's like 17 buildings in the game without landscapes. I'm looking at Halai's towns. I assume he builds a temple, and then he builds all the smaller stuff underneath it. Like, the next big building he builds, like, he's not building a stronghold, he's not building 2 temples. He probably builds a temple, and then he clears out everything else underneath that. So it's like he builds the temple, gets 2 trading posts, and 5 more dwellings. Clears all that off. That's 5 more structures, 15 network. Like, as I'm sort of looking at people's board states trying to estimate networks, which I know you and I've talked about before, Jekyll, is like, that's sort of what I look at, is like, what's the next tallest thing they're getting off their board, and then all the way down, and I think it's like 1 more temple's worth of stuff, which is 5 things, which is E9, E10, the bottom yellows, and I5. So maybe it's Darklings for 15 network, and is anyone competing with that? He is building a stronghold, he just passed for the big building tile. See, this is, I should... Damn it.
Do we still think Acolytes are winning this?
Also, and I don't know, but can we pivot to Halfling's game for a second? Halflings this turn upgraded Diggs once, got enough power for a priest, upgraded Diggs a second time, and then they just, with fully advanced Diggs, took C3. Is that all what happened?
On the dwelling scroll, so he wants to get all those dwellings built.
I'm warming to Darklings too, AJ. I don't... How much stuff do Darklings
Yeah,
have?
I mean, he has 2 towns still coming.
Yeah, he has 2 towns. He has network stuff.
Possibly network.
A trickle of cults.
Probably network.
Probably network. A pass tile for 8. He opens with a coin action. How many priests? He has 4 priests plus his stronghold.
Yeah, because he has a lot of workers. Okay.
Which is enough for 15. Yeah, that's how many digs you would need, including the priest. So he takes a coin town. And like a worker town or so. Yeah. I think is the rule that anytime I say pass tile, George responds with scroll in all caps? I think that must be the case.
Oh, I assumed it was more in reaction to me saying scroll.
I assume so. Oh, he just responds anytime you say scroll, or some of the time. You say scroll a lot, so it is hard to keep up. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Are Acolytes winning here? I have no idea. I mean, he just passed for 13. That feels pretty nice. Doesn't have a pass tile in the last round.
And like very few workers. Like, what is he going to do?
3 workers, not enough power for anything really. Probably has 24 cult points. And network is really unclear. Probably
Yeah.
Deep Finesse. No, Deep Finesse probably just connects, and he probably just gets second in network. So Acolytes have third in network. And 24 cult points. And they pass for 4 in Air 1. And then what does he do next round for points? Stronghold and another trading post? I don't know. With workers he gets through a power action eventually? And priests and stuff? I'm not sure.
So he's at 9 network.
Yeah. Which isn't a lot. Like,
It's not a lot.
there's a world where I don't know that it's worth it or that they can afford it, but it's almost like there's almost like a world where like Ice Maidens just like tie them on network with their blob in the east if they end up towning there and stuff. Like, so AJ's guess is Darklings, which, yeah, I'm warming to that. I mean, they are 25 points behind Acolytes and stuff and Deep Finesse, but yeah, okay.
But with 2 towns coming.
Yeah, 2 towns.
Acolytes are done with their towns.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Darklings, and then Ice Maidens for second, Halflings and Acolytes. Well, where are Acolytes points coming from? Let's say they do get 6 network, 24 call points is 30. They pass for 4 Air 1 is 34. They build a trading post and a stronghold somehow. That's 42. So they're 144-ish. So maybe they're only high 130s because something in there doesn't happen.
Why did Deep Finesse not build his last another dwelling? He has the stuff for it. Maybe he didn't have it. Oh yeah, he didn't.
He did.
He just got those coins.
Yeah. Every faction other than Acolytes is Earth 1 and a pass tile, and 1 or more towns coming. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, the Earth 1.
So Halai snapped up those coins pretty quickly. Halai's got lots of juice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that mountain of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Acolytes, I guess I was hyping them a lot, and they're not going to win this.
Yeah, that is also really cool, SJ. SJ just brings up the point that, like, Darklings don't need Fire 2.
Because of their stronghold, yeah.
They stronghold on G7 and trading post there, and that's a town. And then they trading post dwelling. Oh, won't they still? They only have 2 trading posts. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trading post. Well, then they'll need a temple trading post in the south, won't they, SJ? I think. Yeah, I'm not actually sure. That actually has network implications, unless I'm miscounting something.
Oh yeah, you're right. He does need another TP in order to not take Fire 2.
Yeah, because he doesn't have, like, normally the way you would do it in that sort of configuration is one of your towns is a 5-hex town, and then that makes it just like a lot cleaner, right? Without having to build up, you just like stick another dwelling at the end. You do a 5-hex town, but there is no 5th hex, so. Definess got his bridge, so he's just planning a big old dwelling town. There's the big old messy dwelling town we were talking about.
Hmm.
He just builds 4 dwellings in the east, or in the west, basically. And just ignores E6 altogether.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I would not think he's catching Darklings on network anyway.
And he's
Right?
beating everyone else, so there's no point to like work to get E6 incorporated into your network. And he has lots of stuff for that, right? He needs 3 dwellings to town, which is 3 workers, and he needs 2 more digs. So that's 5 of his workers. So. Oh, right, that's a good point, Ghostly, that he just needs E5 to connect. Yeah, 3 ship, right, with C1 and stuff. Yep. Or sorry, C3. But again, I still don't think it's worth it, because he's just getting down to 4. He'd be getting down to 4 structures left. So what's Matt thinking about right now?
I mean, what to do with his workers? He has so few that he can really only do like build his stronghold, right?
Right. So is he just considering a worker's action? Just trying to understand like what else he'd be using his turn for here. Like what else is contested? It's not like, oh,
I mean,
fire.
maybe he wants to take like a priest to like block it. See, it's not like he needs that other worker.
Uh,
Yes, maybe he does. Maybe you're right that like.
okay. So he's just ensuring that Deep Finesse does not connect E6 to the rest of his stuff. Trying to understand why that matters. Um,
Mm.
it matters
So,
because now all of us were wrong in the poll. Sorry, go ahead, Jekyll.
So chat thinks that acolytes will temple. So he temple and then priest to fire, win fire. Mm. Yeah, okay. I was thinking stronghold just because when acolytes build their stronghold, each of their priests become worth 1 extra cult step. But then he'd have to be able to put both. Yeah. I think that's right, because then he wouldn't have tempo on Ice Maidens for winning fire, for getting his priest to fire.
Yeah, and Nico, you're bringing up just like a generally good point. So you're saying like Temple for Fire 3 is an 8-point swing against Ice Maidens, which might matter for league standings. And one thing to consider, I mean, this is always sort of the case with Terra Mystica, that Terra Mystica is sort of thought of as not just like a win-lose game. I mean, that's not how ELO is calculated on BGA. It's not how your arena points are awarded. Like, coming in second does matter. It's not just you won the game or you lost. But particularly for like TMTL, you're very aware of that, right? And so I think people... Sometimes if a move can seem a little convoluted, it's like players are spending more time than certainly we can be while we're casting a game, calculating exactly what place they think they're in and what player is ahead of them, right? So people can be trying to do moves that are fighting against the second place person if they're in third to try to get 3 points as opposed to 1 at the end. And we didn't go over this at the beginning, so if you're brand new to the tournament, basically the way that this works is we're playing a 4-player game here, and the winner is going to be awarded 6 league points, and second place is going to be awarded 3, third place is awarded 1, and if you come in fourth, it's 0, and then we're just tallying the sum of those points together over a series of 5 games. So coming in second versus third is very consequential.
If seven does seven tuna need those priests for any reason? Because if not, he should put a priest to fire right now, right?
I mean, he has fire too. Well, is there a world where Ice Maidens get some network points? Right?
Because if he puts the priest to fire, Matt the Lesser can fire 3. He would still be at the 9 spot. And then Ice Maidens would still win it.
Right.
Matt the Lesser could put a priest to cult. Ice Maidens can still win it. So shouldn't he just put a priest to cult?
A priest to fire just secures him the tempo they need for.
And then why would Matt the Lesser bother then?
Right. Because they'd just be neutralizing each other's resources. But he advances on the shipping track.
Oh.
Which I don't entirely understand why that move. Oh, it's probably because... Is he after a priest town? But he was overproducing priests, so they wanted to upgrade shipping so that they could take the priest down and get the priest back.
Right.
I guess.
Kalai definitely wants both of those.
But I still think he has a priest too many, because if he wants to get out another dwelling, he builds a dwelling on F9, and then he digs C9 and builds a dwelling. So he needs 3 more workers, which he has with his priest, and then he's getting a priest town. So he's left with a priest and 2 coins, which means the priest can go to fire. So if that was the plan, like just F9, C9, which ties Acolyte's network, right? 9 structures. I mean, Matt probably just does something about that, but...
He's just gonna win fire now.
Yeah. It's true. So if he's worried about Delta on Acolytes, just winning the cult. I don't know. Could have just been a mistake. Oh, is it Fire 3 here? So Ice Maidens wants a temple kind of anyhow. Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. But, again, like AJ points out, Temple for Air 3 is a fair number of points for Ice Maiden. So with an investment of a priest, probably that favor could have been Air 1. Maybe he has to use both priests to secure it, but you're probably right that Acolytes do back off. So, I don't know. That sequence was interesting. I mean, he sort of baited Matt into a you know, getting up to the 8th spot in fire for no value. But
Yeah, I mean, he baited him, but he has these cult steps that he has at his disposal anyway, right? He has the water 2, he has the 4 coins and a cult step, so.
yeah, that's true. He always would have needed to do that, I guess. It always would have been an investment of 2 priests. So, I'm not sure. Someone else is pointing out that it should have been Air 1 in round 4 anyhow, so. That's 2 3-step favors.
Is this close? Finesse still with a bunch of points? Oh, and D-Finesse just got the Priest Town anyway, so no more Priest Towns left.
Yeah, and Deep Finesse will get to 12 network. Ugh. So Deep Finesse is just getting 2nd network here. Is no cult points and no pass points. No pass style, no Air 1. And I think literally it's just like it's 2 cult points.
Well, he's sitting on 2 priests. Can't discount those.
I guess. They are worth a point as a dig or a point as a step on the cults, either to water or earth.
All right, so Halai has another town. He's got the 8 points, got network, and also very few cult points.
And deep
Also a bunch of digs.
So I think Deep Finesse is like 152 here.
Dang.
I mean, I kind of wanted to be on Team Darklings, but I'm just not seeing the points pour in. But we're saying this is first in network for Darklings.
Yeah, and he has like still so many resources, and he's got Earth 1, Water 1.
Yep. Yeah, so Halai did take Fire 2, which allows him to compete in network a bit easier. Tune is over 150, eh?
I don't know if he wants to build his stronghold, because I mean, okay, there it is, but like I guess he just needs enough to build 2 more dwellings. Oh, forgot he took the worker town.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And the upgrades ship and builds 2 dwellings, which he has exactly enough resources for. He has a coin left, which won't amount to a resource point, and then 3 priests.
Oh, I forgot. It's big building round. He's on the big building troll. Of course, he's gonna build his big building stronghold.
Yeah, so he does that. He passes all that building. Ship advance passing is 21 points. That's 130. Networks 148. And cults are 150. It's hard to say how this will break at the end. I don't know. 154. I think I counted Ice Maidens in around 154. The moment who was it, Mike said Tuna's over 150, I counted. I was sort of getting 154. So is it rough count is like Darklings early 150s, Tuna 154, and Deep Finesse behind them all? Is this like super tight?
Right,
Yeah.
well, Ice Maidens are getting no network points.
Yep. Yeah, they're just passing for 15 and have cults. And they have 132 points.
16, 20, 23. Okay.
Oh no,
You
they
said
pass for
154?
they pass for 12 plus 6. They pass for no, the sanctuary is not a temple, of course. They pass for 9 plus 6 is 15, and they have cults. Oh, SJ's pointing out, can you talk to the ship advance line for Darklings just as brute forcing the Grey Hex? Yeah, that's interesting. So I'd initially thought the line was advanced ship E9, E10, but then that way they just have a bunch of priests left over that they just dig stuff. But actually, if they just want 2 dwellings, yeah, I7, I4.
Okay. Even I4, I3?
Yeah, it could work. I4, I3. I mean, he has, what, 4 digs left? I4 is a dig, is 3 digs, and then they have a spade for I7 or I3. Like, it's... I don't know that it makes much of a difference because I don't think those coins are going to amount to much. It is technically more efficient by a coin because a ship advance is 3 points, but that priest could have just been a dig anywhere for 2 points, and those 4 coins are a point and a third through a resource point. So it is more efficient to do it through 1 shipping. So Deep Finesse is taking Water Cult, says AJ. So Deep Finesse built a temple with his final resources to take Water 2. He's not taking the Water Cult, though, right?
I mean, Acolytes still have a cult step, have a priest.
That's interesting. I didn't see that. Is like, I guess he's confident that like Darklings and Ice Maidens aren't advancing on water. I mean, I can't quite go back and do the math, but a temple is something like 2 digs and a resource point and change. So it's kind of 3 points. But if you can just get 4 points on the cults plus the delta, right? That's actually pretty important, especially with those scores. Again, this was rough math, but I could be completely wrong here, but it was something like Deep Finesse hovering around 150 with Ice Maidens and Darklings around 154. So that's I mean, I could be way off here, but like I think we're in like a very tie 3-way race for Darklings, Ice Maidens, and Halflings. Someone in chat tell me if I'm out to lunch here if that's the case. Deep Finesse stepped Earth as opposed to
Because he knows that Halai needs all 3 priests for that gray dig.
Yeah, but why didn't he just do water? And I guess the argument is because acolytes have a step they don't need to use anyhow, so they were always just going to untie him and get a coin in the process. So that you might as well just put the step on Earth where it gets you a coin. I don't know.
Halai just took a priest, so he is going to have a priest at his disposal too.
But not one that's going to be worth it. Well, actually, a priest for a bump on water goes from 1 point to 3 points.
3. And takes a point away from...
So it's a wash, and it comes with a power, and takes a point from Ice Maidens, and takes a point from...
Thanks.
Yeah. This is all this really, like, funky, annoying, late, like, round 6 cult stuff, where everyone's deciding how that's gonna pan out. Meanwhile, Acolytes are back in the network game. Yeah. So while I was sitting there doing cult math for way too long, Acolytes they're at 12 network, so they'll get to 13 here. No, Matt just took workers. He has 1 hex already dug before. Yes, it's interesting. So Halai is just slow playing. He's avoiding giving you know, developing next to anyone where any leech could be gained that could be helpful. And presumably also just waiting for as much information from the game state before he commits his final moves. I'm not
So
sure.
Acolytes are going to tie Darklings on network?
I think they could, right? Yeah. No,
I think so.
beat them. Can Acolytes get two? I mean, if they really wanted to, they could get down 2 more structures, right?
Yeah, it would be at a big, like, cult cost.
Yeah. No Earth 1, no Dwelling Scroll, no Dwelling Round. So it's just like straight up you're losing the resource points, the cult steps to get 3 more points on Darklings for a swing of 6. Yeah, it's probably just a tie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yikes.
He'll still get a good number of cult points, right? He's going to win 2 cults in 2 seconds.
Yeah, losing these fire steps costs them nothing. Oh, for some reason I thought they had an extra worker. And that if they were willing to give up the steps, they could get out another dwelling. I miscounted somehow. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
All right, Mr. Math. What's Matt the Lesser ending at then?
Oh, he sent it. He did, but he sent it to fire. Thanks, SJ. What's Matt the Lesser ending at? Ugh, I don't know. Or do I really want to do this? You just wait for the calculator to work. For the game to count it up.
4, 8, 8.
4, 15.
24 cults, 15 network, 39. Oh, he's last, isn't he?
He was like 147?
With the air 1.
With the air 1, he has 2 resource points. Is 15 network, bunch of cults. Yeah, it's gonna be tight, Nico. It's gonna be like something like 10-point difference between first and fourth. Yeah, if my math is correct, like Acolytes are in the 140s, and someone wins this at like 150 something. But it was the person who maybe it's Ice Maidens. Because like the network calculation was never part of it, right? So when Acolytes started fighting for network, they were taking points from Darklings and Halflings, but I still had Ice Maidens in the 150s without obviously any of the network points. So we'll see this come in, but wow. So I mean, this happens in TMTL in general or in the Premier League, but particularly I find with Fire and Ice factions where it's like in the early game, someone's clearly in the lead and they're just crushing it. And then like, so our recap on this game was like Acolytes crushing it, Acolytes doing terribly. Actually, it's almost a 4-way tie. So there's a huge, and I find that like that certainly happens a good deal in TMTL. You have very experienced players. A lot of stuff is happening. It's hard to keep track of, but I find Fire and Ice factions like definitely add an extra layer of complexity. Wow, what tight scores here. So 145 for Deep Finesse, 147 for Matt the Lesser, is playing Acolytes. Darklings coming in 151, and Tuna does win this one. Congratulations, 7 Tuna 5. Playing Ice Maidens at 153. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. I am just going... In a moment, we are going to get Tuna on the line for just a quick post-game interview.
Looks like Halai would have... Oh, no. No.
No? No.
Oh, no. I think he would have won. Is that right?
Who would have won if what happened?
So he had a final priest that he dug with for 2 points. Instead of putting it to... Oh, no, wait, because then 7 Tuna's at 152. Halai is still at 151. Okay, never mind. I think there was like the possibility of putting the priest to water, taking a point away from Deep Finesse and Seven Tuna both, but I think it
see.
doesn't change.
I'll get this game state back for the viewers. I did just message Tuna. I'm sure that they will jump into chat momentarily. Yeah, what an incredible game. What was it you think that with the Acolytes game that we either had wrong here, or like I just thought a lot was like going really well for them, Jekyll, throughout this game, but maybe I just sort of miscalculated how well their game was breaking. Did you see like sort of like a point in this game where things sort of turned away from Acolytes and towards Ice Maidens, or were we kind of just evaluating the board states a little incorrectly?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. Like, I kind of thought that he had more built at, he didn't have like many structures out. Which I think at this point in the game, usually Acolytes do have a lot more.
Right.
So
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah, I think I was just wrong in my assessment.
Fair enough. Well, I just want to welcome to the stream Tuna, who just joined us in voice chat. Welcome.
Congratulations.
And, congratulations on an
Thank
incredible
you.
win here.
Yeah, it's super exciting.
And this is your first time playing in the Premier League, is that correct?
Yep.
Amazing. What was sort of your plan for Ice Maidens here going into the game, and how did that sort of differ as the game progressed?
I actually had to like pull up the rulebook for Fire and Ice because I've never played Fire and Ice factions, but I wanted to battle. Yeah. So I guess being fourth position, I think like color-wise, gray is super strong here. And then my plan was just to take Earth 2 as my first favor and open double temple and a dwelling.
Right.
Which I got to do, which was pretty sweet. And I didn't really have a plan past that. I thought that I might just cut off my town in the west if Matt wanted to do that round one.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't really anything I was going to do about that. And then like once, so like I think Matt took e4 instead of f3, so I could still like town eventually, but I wasn't really like I mean, it wasn't really like part of the plan. It was just like, if it happens, it happens. And at the point where I think Deep Finesse went to ship 2 and Matt just like killed his connection.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm never connecting either. So I just kind of like audibled into just playing taller.
But help me out here, because I like at what point in the game where did you still think that like a connection here was still like open and viable to you, and when did that change? Because it always seemed kind of tricky, especially with like D1 and stuff taken kind of early backlights.
Yeah. I don't remember like if Matt took D1 on round 1 or round 2, but basically like if that was still available and I went onto temp ship for round 2, I could have still tried to connect. But that just like didn't end up happening, and I just like gave up once those hexes were gone.
Right, gotcha. Jekyll, get in here. What questions do you have for Tuna? I don't want to hog all the mic space.
I think there was a point during the game when like Chad and like Weber and I both kind of questioned the Air 3 versus Air 1.
Yeah.
Do you want to shed some light on that?
I think I took Air 3 to lock Air Cult against Matt, right? And I think Air 1 was going to get me like 5-ish points. I wasn't like too sure how many TPs I was actually going to build during round 5. And at that point, I still thought Matt was doing really well, but I guess like I should have been watching Halai a bit more. So I think like points wise, it was kind of the same for me. So I think the 3 power might have also been like somewhat important.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. And so, just to clarify, you're saying like, have you ever played Fire and Ice factions before?
Nope.
So, this is your first game playing them. Have you seen Fire and Ice factions played before? Have you spectated a game? Do you know anything about it?
Oh, I think I played once with like my friends. I think like we just like jammed like 4 Fire and Ice factions together.
Okay.
But like I've never like played with or against Ice Maidens, I think, and Acolytes either. So let's like read what they did.
And so, but what was your strategy here? Like, were you just like reading the rules during the auction? Because like, surely you couldn't brush up on all of the Fire, or did you just brush up on all the Fire and Ice factions beforehand? Like,
so-
how did this go?
So I used random.org and it selected whichever faction that I put in. So I read that one, and then whoever put in the other one, I read the rules for that one too. And that was my prep.
Okay. I mean, hey, good strategy. I mean, you won the game.
I only need to know what those two do, right? It's like the other ones aren't in the game.
I guess that totally makes a lot of sense. This is incredible. And so when is your host week coming up? I guess it's not until the end of the season. Is that correct?
I think it's a bit later. I didn't check the schedule except I had to swap with someone for this week.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So, what's going to be do you have any sort of strategy or any way you're trying to, that you're doing in between games to sort of to get prepared? I mean, obviously you showed that you were able to play at this very competitive table, and hats off to you. But obviously, like, it's definitely an uphill battle, fighting against the likes of these other 3 competitors. So, what are you kind of doing to prepare in between weeks?
I mean, yeah, this is gonna be super tough tournament. I have some friends that I play Terra Mystica with, so I'll probably play some training games with them. And then I guess for my host week, I'll figure out if I want Fire and Ice factions in or not.
Right.
I kind of just like wanted a battle this week, so.
Right. That's great. Hey, because it's my understanding that like there's apt to be quite a few Fire and Ice factions in this, and there was almost some talk of throwing fan factions in at some point, but I think that got kiboshed.
Yeah, I think so too.
We're apt to see some interesting setups here.
Yeah, for sure.
Jekyll, I'll give you the last word here with Tuna before we let him go.
Congratulations. Do you like Ice Maidens now, having won with them?
Yeah, I think they're fun. I don't really know how to evaluate them still, but yeah, I had a round 1 game plan.
Yeah, and the stronghold plan was
Yeah.
worked out really well. There's a lot of pass points throughout.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Well, look, congratulations again.
Thank you.
And, hey, yeah, thanks so much for the follow. But yeah, congratulations. Obviously, this is an incredibly tough table. Know that we're rooting for you. You got lots of fans and stuff that are going to be watching this, keeping an eye on your progress throughout the tournament. Just makes it lots of excitement for sure to see someone sort of newer to Premier League taking the first game and beating Deep Finesse and Hawaii and Matt the Lesser, all incredibly tough players. So congratulations on the win.
Thanks so much.
Great, and good luck with the rest of the tournament. Have yourself a good night.
Cool. Thanks.
All right,
Good
bye
night.
for now.
Bye.
Great. So that's all we have for tonight. Jekyll's cam is kind of off right now just because of the call we had with Tuna. Just messed some stuff up, so I'll try to get that fixed for the next broadcast. But Jekyll, any sort of final words for the viewers as we wrap things up?
I'm very excited to see like new players do so well. And I'm excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, me as well. And if you're not already in the TMTL Discord, please jump in there. There's links at the beginning and the ending of the stream and stuff like that to jump in there. But that's going to be your best source of information in terms of the standings on what games are, like who's playing in what games, whose bye week it is, who's the host week, that kind of stuff. There obviously was a bit of a schedule adjustment for this game. So jump in the Discord if you're not there already. And that's so you can keep an eye on the tournament. And Jekyll and I will be back next week to broadcast. I'm going to be streaming this every week from my Twitch account. So same time, Tuesdays, 5:30 Eastern time. If you haven't already, please feel free to follow the channel. You'll get a notification anytime I go live. And Jekyll, you are back next week. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'll be here next week. I think the following week, I'm going to be across the pond in Spain.
Awesome.
But I'll be after that. I'll be here.
Very cool. That's great. And thanks, Ghostly. Ghostly just posted an invite to the Discord, so that's really great. Jump in there if you're not already a member. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in for the Premier League of Terra Mystica. We will see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.
Hi, everyone.